welcome back. Welcome to our debrief and logistics session for the end of the day. Our timing is a bit tight. We want to fit in everyone's presentations, but given the ups and downs of the day and catastrophic Zoom failure, I hope you will bear with us and make sure that we take the time to make sure everybody gets their 2 minutes in. Let's try and do that for the group. I am going to spotlight myself. Let's see, there we go. Okay. And I will try to spotlight whoever is presenting as we go. All right. So I am going to set the framework for our discussion. And then Yandu, who is our TF, our Alumni Legacy TF, will be moderating and leading the teams through this discussion, and also sharing her thoughts, because she just did this exercise last year. I did this exercise in 2019, so she did it just last year. I want to let you know that this exercise is designed to be a bit vague. So for some of you, some of the more technical terminology might have been challenging. For some of you, the social science terminology might have been challenging. We do that so that you all have a chance to jump in, show your expertise, and also start to get super comfortable Googling things. Because the road to figuring out anything in the data science, computational social science space involves a whole lot of Googling and asking for help. So if you were living in office hours and calling us in and asking questions and connecting with other people, you are right where you need to be. Remember that there are many ways to be successful in this kind of exercise. So did you learn what a sampling frame is? Awesome. Did you learn about scraping or APIs? Didn't know those existed. Amazing. Did you actually get some data? Whoa, you got data. Did you do something with that data? Did you teach someone to be brave? Were you brave? Did you try something new? Did you go to office hours? Like I'm telling you, all of us complain about students not coming to office hours. Go to office hours. Did you manage to not fall asleep today during the session? Like, I don't know why I have more energy than yesterday, but only 1 cup of coffee right now. So small victories, right? Small victories. So on that note, I'm going to pass things over to Yandu. So Yandu is going to, the presentations are going to be random. So I'll leave it up to her to decide how to do that. If you want to start lobbying her on that, now would be the time. So I'm going to spotlight Yandu, and I am going to turn into Merlin for a little while.
Okay, I'm just going to put the questions in the chat box again of what you were supposed to think about. But honestly, if you just want to say whatever, how about how your day went in 2 minutes or what your group learned, that also works. So let's start with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I don't know if I have the names of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I will drop the list of who's in which group for you into the chat box. And if the person who's going to speak or people who are going to speak could raise your hand so I know to spotlight you, that'd be great. So here's the list. I'm dropping that in the chat box, not in the waiting room, to everyone. Here you go. So who is going to present for us from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Great.
Okay. Please let me know if you can't hear me because I've been having issues with audio. But for our group, we didn't pick our research question just yet. What we do know is that we want to look at debt, so student loan debt, and can look at that in comparison to different types of schools. And so that's what we were focused on. But we don't know what our specific questions were because we decided to use data that none of us were really familiar with. So we pulled our information from the U.S. Department of Education College Scorecard. We were able to pull our data in a JSON format, but the things that we were really struggling with were getting that JSON format into something that we would actually be able to use in R, because we had a lot of nested lists. And so we don't really know like the weaknesses of our data just yet because we're still trying to get it in a readable format. So I think what we really learned a lot about is, we learned a lot about our JSON and our JSON Lite, those packages today.
Yeah. Is there anything else from your group? If they'd like to add anything? Else from your group?
Sure, I can just like really quickly say that we did start out thinking that we were going to use Zillow data and then spent some time on that, realized that it was just not as easily accessible, and then decided to switch. So we for sure had that fun little learning moment of being like, maybe we should just try something else.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when I did it too, like you like have your research idea and you like, the sky's the limit. And then you're like, APIs, I need to get access. Can I get access in the next 3 hours? Like it's the restrictions that can be put in place, but that's good. Next, insecure. Let's see. Jeremiah, Daniel, Rebecca. Oh, there we go.
I can start us off, and then Jeremiah and Rebecca definitely chime in if there's anything y'all would like to add. Yeah, we had a pretty good brainstorming session. I don't know about other folks, but I was pretty nervous about how open-ended it was and where we were going to land. But we found some commonalities in terms of our research interests and landed on a question that we were all excited about. So we were interested in the question of, do we observe a difference in the way Black employees characterize workplace organizational culture on Glassdoor before and after the BLM movement? So we had questions in terms of like how to sort of what the cutoff points of like the BLM movement would be. We were also thinking about like COVID would probably be a cleaner cutoff point because you could just use March 2020. But then similar to what the other group was mentioning, just API issues, I think we were realizing that Glassdoor API isn't as friendly. I think LinkedIn has clamped down on their API in recent years. So we were finding like these R packages in GitHub, but they were all like from years ago. And so I don't think that they're compatible with the APIs today. So we spent a lot of time trying to figure out all of that. And I think we were moving in the direction of just like trying to use something that works from like the list of APIs you gave us. So maybe just trying to do something with Twitter data, but I think we're going to have to change our question because from what we understand, you can't get historic tweets with the base level Twitter API access. So that's just the next thing I guess we have to figure out to see how far away from our original research question we'll end up. If that makes sense. I don't know, Rebecca and Jeremiah, if y'all have anything you want to add.
You go first. You want to go first?
Sure. I was just going to say that, sorry, this iPad is weird, but one thing I wanted to say was that the best part about, the session was the brainstorming session, because that's where we really got to, put our heads together and figure out a good research question. But the tricky thing about that, we found out that we were coming up with these very interesting research questions, but it was, we had these thoughts where we're like, all right, where are we going to get this data from? Or what's the data that's compatible for the programming language that we're using? Or even then come up with side questions, research questions, and like, well, what we're doing now, this won't lead to the right method to answer that question. And so that was clearly the best part. One thing I learned why everybody else was using Twitter instead of any other obscure API website and things like that, because it was easier and more accessible.
Yeah, so I guess I just want to echo back what Yangdu was saying, that sky is your limit. No, API is your limit. Yeah. And Daniel also tried Indeed. And so we tried like all the major websites. We even tried to look up for API for Google reviews, but it wasn't available. Yeah, so that's our group.
So I want to add in for those of you that are thinking about Twitter data, and I'm so impressed that so many of you so far have done outside of Twitter because people tend to stick to Twitter. We will, Amber, who's on my team, she's occasionally here with us. She got all the data you'll use in your exercise tomorrow. And is pretty good at it. And so is a lot of our TAs that will be with us tomorrow. So Peter is a whiz at Twitter data as well. So if anyone's thinking about Twitter, you'll have support on that and everything else tomorrow. Back to you, Yandu.
I was just going to add, like, the sky's the limit is in your questions, like in the sense that like next week you're going to be working on projects and stuff. So if you are really interested in these questions and want to pursue them, like, hold on to them, put them in your back pocket for next week. But yeah, for the purposes of today, API was a bit of a limit.
I'm not sure if this is how we're supposed to use a general Slack channel, but I dropped my question about like LinkedIn or Glassdoor API there to see if I could get any help. So, and somebody replied saying that LinkedIn clamped down on their API. So maybe we'll see if we get more help there.
Yeah. But thank you guys all for sharing. Next, let's have Martin.
Who said the API is the limit? So we can put that out on social.
I actually saw Yondu
Rebecca.
was saying something similar. You were saying like sky's the limit, and
Yeah.
then
Sky's the limit, I thought, for like your imagination with your research questions, but you're right. For today, yeah, it was the limit.
So I think it's a combo quote from Yandu and Rebecca. Cool. All right, back to you, Yandu.
So Martin, so that's oh, there we go, Andrea. Did I say your name right?
It's fine.
Oh,
It's
that's
Andrea,
right. It's
fine.
wrong. Okay.
Don't worry about it. It's me and Javante and Amber. And so I'm going to talk first and then we will switch who's going to speak next. And so in deference to the Crown Act, the selection of the Crown Act and the issues surrounding it, our research question is, how has gentrification impacted Black beauty salons and barbershops over time in Los Angeles? And we wanted to look at the fact that as a neighborhood changes, both racially and economically, is there a difference in the number of salons or ratings for Black beauty salons and barbershops? And we started talking about this and started talking about the theoretical foundation of both gentrification and displacement. And Javante will jump in and discuss what we preliminarily found.
And so our study also draws influence from Kane's 2003 study, where the author observed nail salons in two racially distinct areas in New York City. The author's study documented distinct service expectations and consumption habits in those two areas. And so with this in mind, we anticipate that beauty salons in areas experiencing gentrification may have an effect on business success and performance evaluation.
So in order to test this research question, our unit of analysis was the individual beauty salons. They're using the Yelp API. We got information about where the salons were located, their average ratings, and the zip codes. One of the weaknesses of our data is that Yelp doesn't have information on the demographics nearby or anything on the demographic changes. So we merged the data that we got from Yelp with data from an LA displacement project. And then we were able to look at different trends. One of the things that we found through our analysis is that there's a statistically significant relationship between ratings and the median income. So as the income is increasing, so are the ratings of these beauty salons. As the income is decreasing, so do the ratings also decrease. So we thought that it could have significance for who was getting certain services, how people are judging certain services. We weren't able to do more analysis, but that's kind of where we were. I also learned that my team is amazing. I really loved working with them. Yandu saved us many times, so it was just really fun to do.
I'm glad it was able to work out. And you're one of the teams that got API data through the whole process of applying and you got it, which is exciting too. Okay, so just to keep the ball rolling, next we'll have Grownish.
That's us.
Okay.
the other group put us to shame with their analysis because we didn't get that far. So we actually also realized the IP, well, actually, we were a little bit lost to begin with. We got a question and then Yondu came and is like, well, you might not be able to answer that today. And so we had to like, okay, regroup and say, what question we can, what can we do today? So we reframed our question and then came up with trying to investigate sentiment regarding COVID-19 vaccine for the young children 0 to 5, which was recently approved. But we still have a lot to learn because we just learned how to get the data and how to, but then we were also lost because we were thinking, okay, but now what do we look for? Like, what is the first time we analyze big data, so we didn't know how to even organize it and analyze it. And so yeah, our unit of analysis will be the tweets, and I don't know if my other teams will want to add anything before I keep going.
Yeah, I was just going to say that we kind of let the data driver, or we're letting the data drive our research question. So we're taking a different approach to what everyone else is doing, but we know the general topic that we're interested in.
It still sounds very interesting, and it's a different way to learn. It allows you to learn more about R and analyzing the data. So I mean, they both have their benefits. Thanks for sharing. Okay, next we'll have the Proud family.
Hello.
I can hear somebody speaking, but I don't know who it is. Oh, there we go.
Hello.
Yep,
Hi,
I can hear
Gatumsai.
you.
Hello, how are you? So we try to work with BJ and me, and I'm trying to say about what we have tried. Our issue was about the impact of social media in facilitating or in igniting the ethnic based conflict in Ethiopia. So we try to see this one, and as our research question, we try to see that how these social medias, especially Facebook and Twitter, has influenced in igniting the conflicts. So we, as a unit of analysis, we just used words as a part of genocidal words, slur, and also hate speech towards ethnic groups. We have seen as a challenge, as a unit of analysis. So we applied the legal screening scrapping techniques, and so with regard to, we put 3 ethnic groups as a center of a unit of analysis, like the Amhara, Oromo, and Tigray as the ethnic groups. And we also try to see who are the prominent Facebooker or Twitter from those ethnic groups. We try to use 3% who are active on that. And also, we try to see so we just select articles which has been posted. For example, there was we try for the scrapping technique, we try to use an article published in Guardian, which is, it says Facebook lets vigilantes in Ethiopia incite ethnic killing. So we try to put into the R, and I think we are not gone through as best, but we have tried that. And with regard to the strengths and the weakness of the data, we have seen that the data is the article. This article, we have seen that maybe this article is written by someone who was a correspondent in Ethiopia, so it may have a good strength. Otherwise, even the author also may be subject to bias with regard to these ethnic groups listed. So as a design, we used the hybrid design because we just go to the Guardian Twitter page to see what has been said on this article, and we have tried to see the comments. Still, the comments are almost ethnically divided, and so what do you learn from that? We have tried to learn, we have learned from the process of R in screen scrapping. Otherwise, we are also learn about how the quality of the data, our data, the one we select, because maybe it has the word or something, the unit of analysis we are interested has not captured well. So this is what we have observed from our work. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. It didn't really seem like the collecting the data was much of a challenge, just the analysis part. So then our last group, not least, a different world. Let me scroll back up to see. Oh, there we have a hand. 2 hands. Great.
Hi, so we're all going to go here. So I'll answer questions 1 and 2, and then I'll hand it over to Renee, and then finally to Erica. So our research question was, we wanted to explore the trends in people's comments. Well, originally it was going to be on people's attitudes, but we have limited ourselves to just like Twitter comments about gun control on Twitter after about a month from the horrific Uvalde massacre that occurred on May 24th. Particularly in the English speaking community. So we wanted to limit that so that we could understand our tweets. What was our research frame? So here our methodology was kind of data scraping from the English speaking Twitter. So the limit, Renee is going to talk about the limitations, but we collected only 100 tweets on June 21st, that's today, afternoon Eastern time. A unit of analysis was individual tweets. Just wanted to add here, what we actually wanted to do was divide the tweets between pro and anti-gun control, but we decided to hold on that for the text analysis tomorrow. Yes, we do have data, which was exciting. So I'll hand this over to Renee now.
Okay, so in terms of the legal screen scraping, so pretty much like some of the other groups, you know, we had API issues. Well, both of us, Naithara and I, we didn't have developer accounts for Twitter, so we had to figure that out, and it was definitely interesting doing all of that. But Lindsay was able to help us, you know, with that part of it. And then from looking at the previous video, we realized like some of what was recommended didn't work. So we had to pretty much like, with Lindsay's help, which was pretty much very helpful. Yeah, so I learned a lot about like APIs and developer accounts and all that stuff on Twitter. And then with strengths and weaknesses. So in terms of weaknesses, we weren't able to, you know, be very, very specific. Like we just use guns to search. So we came up with some things, like we saw a tweet about like Guns N' Roses, which is a song. So things like that were some of our limitations. And also the time frame.
I have to interrupt you. Guns N' Roses is a band, not a song. Okay, bye.
Oh, just kidding. Yeah, it wasn't applicable. Thank you. And I thought Guns N' Roses is a song. That is a song. Anyway.
No, Erica knows. Erica and I are here. Guns N' Roses is a band for some of us of a certain age.
Got it. Okay. And then the time frame. So we were only able to do the most recent tweets. We weren't able to like put it a, actual time frame. We only got 100 tweets. And, so the sample size was only 100. And then we weren't sure if the accounts that we were able to pull, if it's like public accounts or if it was private. So that was a question that we had. And then in terms of strengths, the collaboration was amazing. Erica was very helpful. And she was our tech expert along with Lindsay. So that was really helpful, and we were able to like collaborate and figure out how to get the data. And then and even though 100 tweets was a limitation, we kind of saw it as a strength too, because we weren't able to get like a massive amount to make the whole thing confusing. So then I'll pass it to Erica.
Thank you, Renee. So I'm going to answer question number 5 and 6. So what hybrid design did you come up with to address the weakness of the data you collected or help you improve your ability to answer the research question you came up with? So we actually did not start to analyze the data. So I think what we are probably, I'm not sure if you're going to work together tomorrow or not, but if we probably would try to download different data sets, like using different terms. And also basically in terms of the weakness, since we were not able to use the libraries, we had to find a way around and use another way to download this data. And then what did we learn? So we learned that this trend of this working collaboration. So basically having different knowledge from each of us help we are able to do a little bit of what the task was. And then also I have to read it. So basically we learned different things like related with Twitter, what a API, and then what is this develop packet, and then things related with ethics and coding, some things that we end up discussing. Also, one thing that we were following the instructions from the videos. So and what we learned is that videos are not enough. They are a great start, but then using the TAs and Googling a lot is the way to go. So.
Yeah, Google is your friend. And then it's great that we have the TAs here with us for the duration of the program. Thanks everyone for sharing. It's very interesting to see the questions that people come up with, because I think when my group did it, it wasn't as open-ended, or we kind of just all like zeroed in on like Twitter and wanting to like analyze one thing. So it's really nice to see like the range of interests and topics that people are looking into. Take it away, Nanette.
Thank you so much, Yandu. Please, everyone, thank Yandu. As with our TFs yesterday, she jumped in and helped out today. Yandu, could you just briefly explain your level of exposure to this before you came to SICSS last year?
Level of exposure to just like R, or like
to the exercise, to the type of stuff that we did in the exercise today?
So no experience with APIs, experience with R, but not with any of the packages that we were using. Never analyzed Twitter data, but I knew some things in R, and I was fortunate that the people in my group, like we all wrangled together our confidence to get some data and to look at something. So yeah, it was a great experience all around.
Thank you so much. I wanted her to say that because I want you all to realize, no matter where you're starting this year, look at where she is a year later, right? She had no exposure. So, whatever you were able to tackle and wrangle today is just amazing. So I'm going to take just a few minutes and we're going to go through logistics really fast so I can send you on your way, because we're already over and we try very hard to keep our commitment to you to end on time. But, who could prepare for catastrophic, Zoom failure? So that's your keep, start, stop That is your Keep Start Stop for tonight. Please go ahead and fill that in at your leisure. We'll also put it on Slack today, but it's the same link every night. So please do that and give us some feedback on how things went today. Definitely appreciate, and please tell us, how we did with the catastrophic failure. We tried really hard, and let us know how things are going with the TAs and all that stuff. I want to take a minute and review the schedule too, but I'm going to quickly go through the other logistics things. I just want to remind you, if you have the chance to thank our TAs, Mary, Peter, Jules, Lindsay, let's definitely do that. Might want to pull together a thank you card or something for Mathematica at the end. But they're doing incredible work, and we are the only site that has professional TAs, that has professional data scientists. Mathematica is done right by us. I also would be remiss if I didn't thank our amazing speaker this morning, Amy, who arrived at just the right moment with just the right message. I'm not going to tell you who's coming tomorrow, but it's going to be cool. I asked Howard to get us Lizzo, but they haven't returned my phone calls. I'm like, could you get Lizzo to come? And they're like, I'm like, don't y'all know like everybody black? And they just don't respond to those messages when I send them. So I want to point out there are a few of you that have some outstanding things to complete. I'm happy to stick around today to help you with those. I know we send you a lot of forms. So the onboarding form, which gets you into that sheet with all the research words. So that needs to be filled out. We're missing that right now from Grace, Jovante, and Renee. So I DM'd you about this, but if the three of you could fill that out, that'd be great. I'm also happy to hang out and help the following people to sign up for either guest speaker panels or guest speakers or our panels. There are 3 tabs in that sheet, and I think some of you missed it. So we still need the following people to sign up for a guest speaker: Asha, Erica, Jeremiah, Jovante, and Renee. And for panels, we're waiting on Asha and Jeremiah. If you signed up for a panel where there is multiple videos, we need you to tell us which video you're going to do. We want to make sure we have coverage of all the videos. So please, everybody go back and double check and make sure that if you signed up for enough. So it's 1 guest speaker, 1 panel, 1 guest speaker, 1 panel. And if there are multiple videos and it says it in the top how many videos, let us know in brackets which video you're watching. We need coverage for all the videos. Since we survived catastrophic Zoom failure, I checked our other Zoom. It is working. So I will see you in our original Zoom links. I feel like I should go into our document and write catastrophic failure for today, just so we have a record of that. But everything should be fine for tomorrow. So please go back to the original Zoom list. If things go awry, do exactly what you did today. Hop into Slack, and we will do our best to quickly fix things. That's all I have for logistics. So I'm going to quickly go over the schedule. So I have not asked any of our staff to screen share the schedule, so this might take a second. Ella, can you please prep and screen share? Of course, she's already ready. Undergrads, they do amazing things. Okay, so Wednesday, this is what our schedule looks like. It's going to sound a lot like today. So our pre-arrival videos are there. Our corresponding slides and annotated code are there. As you all have realized, code changes really fast. So the videos and anything that we might provide you is meant to give you an entree, but you're probably going to have to Google, hop on GitHub, write stuff in our Slack to get. And this is just what research looks like in this space. So you're doing exactly what people who've been doing this for, I don't think anyone's been doing this for a decade, but if you've been doing this for a decade, this is what people do. You go out and ask questions. So all that is there. Let us know if there's any mistakes in the takeaway sheet. You can add a comment. Super excited to find out that our little takeaway sheets are being used by other sites. I got an update from Turkey today, so that was exciting. The participant Zoom links are there. Let's hope they work. So tomorrow, 9 to 10 a.m., our Stata and Python office hours, if you'd like to come. It might be a good thing just to be around. Great way to get to know people. We had 29% participation in that this morning. Love to see more. Definitely optional and as needed. 10 to 10:15, logistics and introduction to the group exercise. It's posted there, so if you want to take a look at it and see what our group exercise is for tomorrow, you can. Extract features from tweets. So we'll be working with tweets tomorrow. Last year we used Donald Trump, and I felt very strongly that our site focused on anti-Black racism and inequity should be focusing all of our exercises on Black people. So we'll actually be looking at tweets and public opinion data on our Vice President, Kamala Harris. So we pulled that data for you. It's special to our site. Other sites may choose to use it, but I am really hoping that even though Howard won't return my call about Lizzo, that they might be willing to send what we do on to Kamala Harris. I mean, she's an alum, right? So I'm just putting that out in the universe, knock on wood. We're tweeting at her already about this, so let's put together some good visuals and we'll tweet them to Kamala and see what she says, right? I need a presidential appointment. Anyway, okay, so then we've got, after that, we've got a break, long break, you get what you asked for. Then our bite-sized lunchtime talk with Site Black Women Collective and Very CSS. So they take two different approaches to making sure that women, and in the case of Site Black Women, Black women are rewarded and appreciated for their work. This is a great follow-on to Just Tech because the platform that Just Tech has, I would say, is probably built on the work of what these two groups are doing. Then we got another break. Then we will predict features of tweets associated with retweets. So you will be together with your same group that you started with in the morning and the afternoon. We're working on updating the website to make that clearer for you, that there will be a continuation of the activity for a large part of the day. That would have been explained had we, not had catastrophic failure. I have to say that all the time. Now, I'm gonna get a t-shirt. Catastrophic failure with Zoom in the morning, but we just know that you will be together with the group that you're given tomorrow for most of the day. Then we'll do our debrief and logistics. We'll have a break, and then we'll all get together for the inaugural SICSS-Howard Mathematica 2022 motivational address. So Paula Moreno, who is the first woman of Afro-Colombian descent and youngest person ever to be a minister of culture, any minister, but minister of culture in Colombia, is our motivational speaker. So we'll gather in the evening for that. One of our two giant speakers during our time here. So that's our day tomorrow. I want to pause and breathe there in the event that there are questions. You can drop screen sharing for us, please. We are definitely over time, so if folks need to go, totally fine. We'll send out, all the questions, and I'm here to help folks that still need to sign up for speakers. Are there any questions? Yes, Susanna.
Sorry, tomorrow are we gonna work on the same with the same group or different group?
Different group every day. Oops, sorry. Every day is a new group. So if you had really great energy with your group, those might be people that you want to work on your final project with in the second week. But you may have just as great an experience tomorrow. Or you might want to bring groups together. So keep track of who you just had synergy and great stuff with. You can use some of the data that you collected today if you collected tweets tomorrow. But I would, if you just had great energy, I would continue finding a way to work with those folks. You remember some of our speakers who are alums have told you that they're on multiple projects with different people. So this is the beginning of all of that. More questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, for the questions during the panel, are we going to ask it during the talk, or do we have to write down in a place?
So no, you just bring your questions. Just have them. Yeah, no, we have, if you've noticed, I have questions in advance just in case it gets a little quiet. And I will tell you, we have never had any of these discussions get dull. Like there's usually like tons of hands and stuff. So yeah, watch the videos and prep. I think I said Very CSS and Site Black Women are tomorrow. Yeah, no, just come with your questions, and when it's time, just get your hands up. That's it. Great question. Thanks, Sasha. Seeing no more questions, we will stop for the day. Everyone have a great evening. I will stick around to help folks if you need to sign up for things or fill out forms. Have a great evening. Thank you all for watching. For more information on SICSS-Howard Mathematica, visit our website, follow us on social media, and join our email list.